Hello, hello. Welcome to day one of week 2 of recapping live creations daily for the year of 2019. We did a lot of things this year. Some of them not as successful as others, but we did a lot of things. And so I do think that during this new year, there will probably be some finishing up of things from this past year. But I hope to have some new projects as well. This week, today's episode is predominantly planning the coming week. I have 5 days. Yeah, we're doing real good right now. 5 days this week of discussion of the 5 categories of content that we did. I mean, what I'm probably going to end up doing here is, we've just finished products and food. Products was interesting. Food, not as interesting, I'd guess. Video games, board games, art, and music are one category. Videos, books, and health and fitness. So, I think I want to reserve video games for a little bit because I'm still futzing around with a few bits of that. But I think we can take a look at art and music and the video scripts that I was working on and the plans I want to go forward with that this week. Maybe not. I'm rethinking the video ones because I think it would be fun to see if I could actually get the time to. So what we have, the basic list is, in books we had Wrongs, 3 short stories, Goblin's Daughter universe, 3 science fiction stories, and the story of my D&D setting and my D&D characters that I'm working on. So that would be the 6 different things. Some of those, like the sci-fi stories, have at least 3 in those. The short stories I had 3 stories for that. Goblin's Daughter started as an individual story and blossomed into a whole compilation of a universe. And the stories for my D&D stuff, that's sort of like the backstory for 3 different characters and the universe that I'm building that doesn't involve those characters. So that's a lot of stuff in there to cover, and I kind of want to give it a lot of space to do stuff. I'll probably couple that one with the health and well-being at the end of the month, just because the health and well-being is predominantly going to be rehashing the dietary changes and the exercises that I did in preparation for leading into some of that in the new year. So I think the books and health and well-being should be last. That means we've already done products, we've already done food. That leaves us with art and music, videos, board games, and video games. Now I might just do video games and board games together next week. Yeah, next week. I think they fit just a week of gaming content ideas of what we worked on and where we are on those projects as board games and video games together. So that sort of implies doing art and music and video. I guess I'll do videos this week. I feel like I could have done more with the videos, and I'd like the chance to get a little bit more done this coming week or so. I just don't think I'm going to get a lot done on what I've already done. Basically, what I've got here is scripted out content. So the homage videos that I was working on for October and November aren't done, but the scripts are done for them. The videos for how to make a video without a camera and cheap camera So like if I did a web camera from my laptop, which I think is just like a 450, it's not even a standard definition. So like using that, or even my cheap little cell phone to take some simple video and turn that into video content. That's a thing I could do. And I have sort of scripted those out as things to do. So that's 3 different types of video content that I have scripted there. Then I have the 3 sketches that I was working on. And promptly in the midst of working on that, lost the space I was going to use for green screening. So I didn't get to do what I needed to do to make that happen. And then the original project for video that I started out on was the horror animation. And I realized very quickly that I do not have the time or resources to put together an animation. It's not on my ability to do. I scripted it. I even started doing simple artwork for it. I just don't think I have the, like, an animation is something that can take 3 to 5 months to do. And if done well. And I want to do it well. I think that's the hurdle I hit with that. So I reworked some of that scripting so that most of it could be done with me as the only actor. And so I could do it as a script in this apartment, I guess we can call it. I could do almost all the pieces of it right here. So I may just do it as a live shoot. And I'd love to be able to get the chance to try to do that for New Year's, but we'll see. The 3 sketches, I've loved to be able to sit down and do those as well. I think I have to accept at a certain point that my first ones are going to be a little rough because they don't have a set and they don't have some of the other things you'll need to get it right. And the time involved in doing that, I think, is also going to be time prohibitive. Like the idea of I'm already facing the fact that come a week from today, I'm again going to have to vacate the premises for a couple days. And then Christmas Day, I'm visiting family probably for an overnight. So I'm going to lose about 4-5 days in the next week, even when you don't consider how much I'll be working over the next couple weeks. So my ability to shoot and edit those, it's interesting to note, the shooting this kind of video is easier. I've done edited videos in the past, but proper lighting, set design, and if I'm going to be acting all the roles in my individual skits, it's going to be multiple reshoots for each angle that I'll need the camera at, and a reshoot for each of the roles that I'm playing. I need to get still images of the backdrop that I should be able to do on the green screens. I need to find a place to set up a green screen for those shoots when I do them. And so that's easily 2 to 3 days worth of work per video. And so I don't know that I'll knock them out, but I can at least discuss the scripts and storyboard them out and discuss where we're in that process. The camera videos, and the cheap camera and the no camera videos, I actually think I might be able to get some of that done by the end of the month, but maybe I'm being overly optimistic. So I think we'll talk about the videos this week and the art and music. So we'll cover I don't know if I want to keep calling it art and music category. Part of me wants to split it into 2 separate categories, but also the thing I learned doing the art and music this year was that a lot of what I ended up doing for the music category crossed over into some of the art category, but it also ended up being audio effects. So, like the first audio thing that we covered was originally going to be working on my channel song, and then we ended up compiling a list of sound effects that I could use for video creation. And I actually got pretty far in that list of audio effects. And then the very next thing we did for an audio project was basically we started with paintings, audio, the pixel art, which is used on my channel now. I actually have those made, and I'm kind of happy with some of that. I do want to finish up some of that to increase the effect of the logo or the banner on the top of my page and some of my logo stuff. And then the next thing was another audio project that was when we did the first preliminary discussions of both remixing old music through the LMMS program. So taking the music book that I have full of old songs that nobody even knows anymore, ripping out a chunk of it, remixing it, reworking it, and then putting it out as the base for a new song. But that same week, halfway through that week, the discussion about making audio games came up, and that just enraptured me so much that I just quickly walked away from the rest of the projects, and I went, this is what I want to work on. And I've scripted out those. They're both a audio function and an aspect of something that I could use to make video content types. So we talked a little bit about doing the audio game where you can true or false quiz in audio format, and you don't need any visuals necessarily, but you could include visuals and make a true or false puzzle video series. And I even looked further at doing sort of like those choose your own adventure stories, Space Cadet audio adventure. The Space Cadet audio adventure was one of the things that we were going to do. And it was also a possibility of doing video series inspired by some of those which superhero are you kind of quizzes or things like that. And that fed gradually into the 4-channel audio game that I was working on that would require a piece of tech that would filter high band and low band audio, so you can split the left channel and the right channel from headphones into 2 separate channels for each, giving you 4 channels to work with, because at that point then you can do choose your own adventure easily enough. But the building the piece for that would be a product category content, which we never fully, like, that's with the 4, what do we have? So we had the 4, 2 art, 2 audio, and an homage art piece that I was going to do at the end of the year here for the 5 types of content that we could do for art and music. So I didn't even really get to the 4-channel audio stuff yet, and I think that's a project that I want to move into the new year, just because I think that's going to really tap into all of it, because you can shoot a video that uses 4 channels of audio for a choose your own adventure style. You can make the device that uses the 4 channels as a product. it's going to require some artwork and some music effects or audio effects. And so it's at least 4 of my categories of content rolled into one thing. So, I mean, I think that's something I can set aside to the next year. But it also rolls into some of the video game stuff, because I do want to use some choose your own adventure video styles. And so, like, one of the things we saw, at least partly, I noticed at least during the year here, has been that there started to be a fair amount of bleed over between the different separate categories. And working throughout the year, where I was doing like, no, this week is an art week, and this week is going to be a video game week, and they're not going to be the same thing, meant that I was holding strictly to the individual categories. And I created projects and things I want to finish in those categories. But like the product design that I came up with for making a playable tabletop game on t-shirts so that you meet somebody else with a t-shirt, that's a category bridger. And that bridged category, I can't do that right now. I'm focusing on one category at a time. Whereas I think going into this new year, I'm going to lose a little bit of that structure where this week's specifically this thing. And going into the new year, I want to see about like, okay, so let's get to that 4-channel audio game and the different things we can do with that, the choose your own adventure videos, and video games that maybe have a component that is another category. Maybe it's an art video game or something like that, or it ties in with one of my stories of my book setting, or my video series, board game tie-ins, the art pieces that are used as backdrops for a video series, board games that are, or like the t-shirt board game that are a product, or like some of the clothing ideas I talked about where like culinary improvisation time or something like that as the front of the shirt, and on the back, a different recipe, just a random recipe out of a list of like 100 recipes that I put together, and say like, here's a recipe idea. You get to wear it as part of an outfit or something like that. And so like having these category crossing projects, I think is probably where I'm going in the next year. And so it's less likely that I'm going to say like, I'll do this week. It's literally going to be, I'm going to start this project. Let's see if we can take it to a finished state and see how long that takes to do. And I may at the same time pick up another project at the same time, because I can't always bang my head against the same project endlessly. I'm going to sometimes hit hurdles where like I won't be able to make any headway in the next 3 days. So maybe I'll just pick up a little bit on this one until we get a little free space to work on the first one again. So I may end up doing a little bit of that. But I do think for this week, as building the plan of what I want to do, I think we're going to do the video content. And I might just pull up the scripts and do some active explanation of storyboarding of what the stories are going to be for the videos for all 4 of the ones I did before the homage video. I still want to, I think I'm probably going to, I might even do some discussion of what the structure of the homage videos is going to be. I think I'm probably going to launch them in the new year. But I'll do some more discussing of those this week. And then the art and music category, I'll pull out my paintings again. I think I still have them around here somewhere. And show off some of the things we made. The paintings, the pixel art, and discuss the second homage video that I was going to do for art this month. I guess it was October, technically. I was supposed to do that. And then the music, I can go back to looking at the channel songs that I was working on. But we didn't get as far in that as I was satisfied with. And maybe it's because I'm my own worst critic and I tend to shoot down all the things that I've worked on. Because because I don't think, no matter what I did, I don't imagine any of the artwork that I made I'd ever be satisfied with, or the music that I made I'd ever be satisfied with. It would always feel like a cheap beginner's work to me, and I should just be able to reach a point where I said, like, okay, so it's beginner's work. Here it is. That's fine. I mean, I think I need to get to that stage. But the thing we did mostly that first week was talk about sound effects and how I can use them in video projects, like the rewrites of the Star Wars prequels that I was working on, building together some sound effects that I could do for making my own version of them. And that really got me into the idea of working on a Foley artist portfolio for using in video production. Can you hear me when my hand moves in front of my face like that? I have this little itch here and I keep scratching at it, and I wonder if it's blocking the audio. I hope not. So the audio effects that we have, I can play with. Talk a little bit about music and what I need to think about for that. And then after that, for the audio effects, we've got the pixel artwork, and then we bounced back to audio game. And I do want to, okay, cool. I do want to see about recording that Space Cadet puzzle game. And if we're lucky and I have the chance, I'd love to put together like that maze story. We talked about doing a corn maze for Halloween, and I sort of came up with an idea for doing something like that. And then I had to kind of let it go because there was an inability to do anything for 2 months. And it's killing me that happened in the middle of what I was doing. And then the brainstorming for remixing music from old songs. I mean, I again, that was one of those things that sort of, it landed at a time where I did a little bit of tinkering with it and I had to stop because things got in the way. But I do feel like I can recover some of that this week. Even if it's just setting the stage for picking up the pieces and going into it next year. I guess next year. It's 3 weeks from now, but it's still next year. Next year makes it sound so far away, and it's not that far. Next year is literally 3 weeks away. And then I think next week I will cover board games and video game designs. And then it will be writing projects and health and well-being to end the year, and start the year with the consequence of some of that health and well-being, as well as some of those blended projects. I think that's probably a good course to set from here. So I think I'm ready to commit to saying that's how we're going to go about the next couple weeks. This week should be a day devoted to one each of videos and art. And I think I'll probably start with a video and then the paintings, and then another video project, and then the sound effects and music that we worked on. And then it's basically one from each of those categories each day for the weekdays. And then Saturday, sort of an overall summary and where I'm going from here on out on these things. And then next week is another full week of, I'll do one of these Sunday videos next week from now. And then next week time, when I'm available, hopefully I'll have access to be able to shoot videos each night for 2. It will be board game and video game discussion. I'll do one game from each category each night for 5 days and then a summary at the end of the week. But the following week, where we discuss the writing projects and the health and well-being stuff, we have, I think, 3 or 4 days. And so I'll probably end up doubling up some of the days like I did this past week. And that'll finish us off on New Year's Eve, prepping to go into the new year. And I hope I have a little more formalized plan of something big and fun to do for New Year's. Because I feel like starting off this last year with the mukbang and other creative projects was really exciting and empowering for me. And I want to hold on to some of that energy. So I want to get back to doing some of that. But yeah, I think that's the plan right now. It boggles my mind to think that I have so little time left in the year to tidy up and prep for the next year. Golly. All right, so, and I did the third of the candy cane taste tests today. They're the 12 days before Christmas candy canes. I did the Kool-Aid, and the other one I did before that was the Juicy Drops. Honestly, it's a fun experiment, but I'm not a candy lover. I'm not as into candy as I thought I would be. And then I've been doing the Black Mirror episodes. So what I'm going to try to do in the next day or so is get caught up to the point where it should be 1 episode per day after tomorrow, maybe Tuesday. And then it's finish off the series of Black Mirror. And then I'm going to try to do Metal Hurlant, which is the heavy metal live action anthology series. And meanwhile, Views Days, I'm watching episodes of Carnival Row. So there's a lot of video watching in my future here. I do want to see if I can also finish the stories in that book that I started in November? No, October. Yeah, I started it early October. Interrupted halfway through October. But I want to finish that book off too. That should be a goal to achieve. It lets me tidy off the half-finished projects from the last 2 months. Appeases some of that guilt. I'm like, these are things that were important to me and they got derailed. I shouldn't let myself come to a screeching halt because of that. I need to pick the pieces back up, finish them off, so I can get a start on a new year with a new focus and a new drive to do new and interesting things. So I guess we're coming up on half an hour, and that's probably a good place to cut it for tonight. I will be back tomorrow after work to recap 2 of my basically, I think it's the paintings and probably the horror. Well, I might slide down later into the year and just do the no camera video concepts and look at the possibility of doing that as a project for the new year too. Yeah, I might just do that. And then Tuesday will be, I think, audio, the first audio projects that we did, and maybe the low camera video idea as a pair. And then Wednesday after work, Thursday after work, Friday after work, and Saturday after work, I should be able to just work my way through the rest of this week's content. So that's the plan. And since I don't have anything necessarily stopping me from doing, I think I'll aim for 10:30. I think I can pull off 10:30 again. because I finish work before 6 p.m. So I should be able to get back here and do stuff by 6 p.m. Tuesday might be a little interesting because of Views Day also in there. I'll be doing Black Mirror episodes, maybe 2 of them. It's 1, 2, and then 2 episodes of Carnival Row. So 4 hours of watching video on Tuesday before I even shoot a video here. So the rest of the week should be live videos on 10:30. Yeah, East Coast time. So yeah, right now my clock tells me it's 12:06 p.m. Oh, 12:06 a.m. It's midnight 06. I try to distinguish when my schedule at work is when they have me doing something at noon. I just call it noon or noon 30 because I do enough work sometimes that people are like, "You mean like midnight?" And I'm like, "No. If I tell you it's 12, I don't mean midnight." But you know, not enough people have an understanding of military time that I can't tell them 0:100 hours or 1200 hours. Like, people don't get it. So I usually do a midnight. Anytime after midnight before 1 a.m. is midnight 30 or midnight 45 or whatever when I do that. Right now it's midnight 07. And I get out at 6 p.m. tomorrow. So 6 p.m. is easier for people to understand. If I said it's 12:07 a.m., some people might think it's 12:07 noon. Not everybody understands where the a.m. and the p.m. settle for 12 o'clock. Anyway, because technically 12:00 a.m. is not anything that's just happened within the last 10 minutes. 12 a.m. is noon, but 12:01 is p.m. So yeah, that's the way I was taught it. Yeah, so I'm East Coast time. It's I think it's 1 hour ahead of you. But 10:30 is where I'm going to aim for. Just because, like, right now I'm finishing up a half hour of shooting this video because I started on my time at 11:30, which I've got to go eat dinner and then I got to get prepped because I need to be up early enough to go to work tomorrow. And doing the 1 to 2 a.m. kind of stuff, there's sort of a cutoff point. Like, if I'm awake too late, I'm not going to get enough sleep, and that's going to interfere with my ability to work. I'm going to be exhausted when I come back from work. I'm going to want to take a nap, and then I won't wake up till 6 p.m., and then it'll be too late to, well, actually, I won't wake up until 8 p.m., and then it'll be too late to start some of the other projects I want to do tomorrow night. So doing a 10:30 to 11 or 11:30 at most is probably the sweet spot for me right now while I'm working. I don't know what my New Year work schedule is going to look like. We'll find out. I'm not even sure I do know that this coming week is a nice, orderly schedule. They're not jumbling me around during the week so that I can say, I have a cutoff point where I actually arrive at the same time home every day this week. Now, I don't think that's what's going to happen the week after that. And I'm pretty sure the last week of the month isn't going to be that tidy either. But this week, it's at least tidy enough that I can sort of work my stuff out. So I will catch you tomorrow. And yeah, I should be able to at least, well, I might not be able to show the camera any storyboards on white paper. We'll see if I can find a better way to do that. Camera still freaks out about that. But we'll get something working on some of the video content. All right. Take care. Hey, it's working tonight. So I will catch you later. See you tomorrow. Dinner time. I gotta go eat some eggs for dinner.